What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy. It's your boy, Christopher. All right, so today I'm trying out a new app called StreamYards, as you can see in the upper right here. Um, Probably a lot of people know StreamYards. I'm just trying it out. My last couple videos I was using OBS, which is great. Love it. It's great. But StreamYards, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be doing some live. I'm going to be doing some streams or just recordings with friends and stuff in the near future. And so I wanted to give StreamYards a try because I understand that other people that I watch on YouTube use it. They have like 10 guests at a time. It's crazy. And I want to do things like that. I think it'll be really fun. So I wanted to check it out. And I love it so far. It's really easy to use. It's easier to use than OBS, I would say, to an extent. It doesn't have, obviously, OBS is more built out. It's got more features, but we'll see. I'll probably end up paying for it so that I can get rid of the logo and stuff. But as of now, OBS is great also. So I don't know. I'll be playing with them back and forth, depending on what I'm doing, probably. But today I just wanted, so like, let me just click on this little, okay, so hold on. There we go. Still learning it. But this has like preset little views, so I don't think it's as customizable. I can customize it here. Let's see. Okay, so I can customize it. I can put myself wherever I want to put myself. And yeah. So now I have another, you can manage your layouts. I just created a new layout, but I don't know how to switch to it. I don't know how to. It's got all these preset layouts. Okay. All right. Anyway, so kind of fun. I just have Arc open right now. I'm gonna check it out. It's some browser that I wanted to try, but I was looking for some news articles on Google News. Here's something interesting about where I live. Study, the hardest place. This is from KTLA5, LA's very own. The hardest place to save money in America is in Southern California, but it's not LA. I love how they say it's not LA, but in reality, LA's number 2. So it's not LA, people. LA is just number 2. Although the difference is pretty significant. Hey, guess what? I am in number 2, well, not sort of. I'm fairly close to Anaheim, so I probably fall into around here somewhere, is my guess. It's no secret that Los Angeles and California in general is one of the most expensive places to live in the U.S., but one SoCal metropolitan area has beat out the City of Angels to rank as the most difficult place to save money in the nation. Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim metro area did finish second. Ranking second for the highest percentage of income spent on household, just over 25%. In addition to a percentage of renters who spend at least half of their income on rent, about 30%. Man, what am I? No, I'm spending about 30% right now on rent. Yeah, but that's been like normal ever since I moved to California. I was like, what the frick? And I have spent, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've spent half my income on rent at some points. LA and its surrounding cities also struggle with high debt levels, having the 4th highest debt-to-income ratio of all 15 metro areas analyzed by Forbes. When it comes to the hardest metro area in the United States to save money, and one does not have to travel far outside of Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, oh my gosh, Ontario metropolitan area, finished above LA, having the highest debt-to-income ratio of the 15 metros. Where is that? Riverside, San Bernardino. I think is that like kind of northwest of me, or just north of me? I think it's inland a little bit. Let me look for it here. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know that area too much. Riverside. Yeah, it's basically north of me. So it's kind of in the, okay, it's like in the, what is that, the valley, or a valley anyway. Maybe not the valley, but it's around the mountains. It's east of Los Angeles. and essentially kind of north of me. So yeah. Let's go. Let's go, Brandon. There we go. Type. And then where I am is second place. Great. Oh, my chicken's done. And then after that is Miami area. Wow. So let's say hourly wage is a little higher in LA, Anaheim, OC area, I guess. New York is the highest, but it's a little easier to live in New York, apparently. That's crazy. Why do I live here? Why do I live here? I mean, I know why. On the statewide level, the Golden State ranked as the hardest state to save money and having the fourth highest cost of living index in America, according to data from the Missouri Economic Research and Information Center obtained by Forbes Advisors. Housing is a major drain. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. I'm definitely going to be looking for a roommate to get a better place eventually than I am now. But, you know, if you want like a decent place, you're going to have to spend, well, just for an apartment. Let's see, like you could get a studio, but if you wanted something half decent, you know, even a studio can be $2,000, a small studio. But if you want like a cheaper apartment for like a studio or a 1-bedroom, it's going to be like 1,500, 1,600, maybe not even 1,500. That's kind of like, I don't even know if you can find an apartment for that cheap. But it'd be like 1,500 plus to start. And that's like for a cheaper place. If you go somewhere like closer to the coast, LA, downtown, obviously that's going to be more expensive. I was living in a place that was like 3,600, I think, 3,200, but it was a 2-bedroom, and I split it with someone else. But anyways, yeah, dog. California ranks 6th highest for the percentage of residents reporting difficulty paying their usual household expenses. Yeah, California is number 1, the top 10 most difficult states to save money in. Wow. And Hawaii is number 2. Are you kidding? I would think Hawaii would be before California because it's so expensive, but holy crap. That's insane. Income spent on housing, 24.5%. That's crazy. Let's see, going down. I was in Tennessee for a while. It's not even in the top 10. Washington State is not anywhere on this list too. That's where I was raised. New York is number 7. Dang. Holy crap. That's crazy, man. And it's only getting better. Just kidding. It's getting worse. California's minimum wage wipes out thousands of jobs. Why does it got to put In-N-Out? In-N-Out burger restaurant. Yes. Okay. Thank you. In their incessant efforts at pretending to help the poor. Wow, George. Really not pulling the punches. Leftist politicians. This must be a right-leaning National Review website. Come back again and again to the minimum wage. Increasing it is supposed to make life better for low-wage workers. Right. Isn't that the idea? And it won't cause any of them to lose their jobs, right? They point to dubious academic research to prove that it won't. Let's look at the new California minimum wage law for workers in fast food businesses and see how it has been working out. Professor Lee Ohanian has done some digging and writes about his findings in this piece for Independent Institute. He observes that 9,500 jobs have already been wiped out, with more expected. More fast food job losses are coming as the new minimum wage took effect earlier this month. What is it now? New minimum wage, California. 16. Wow. 16. I believe in some areas it's 20. Minimum wage for fast food workers in California jumped to $20. Bro, that's why. What restaurant did I go into the other day? It was. What was the restaurant? I went into some restaurant the other day and I was like, it was Taco Bell. because I wanted to get their breakfast crunch wraps. And so I went to the front and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to order from a person at the front. And so I waited for like probably 20 seconds. Everybody ignored me. And then finally someone was like, oh, can I get you to go and order at the kiosk? And I was like, tight. So yeah. And I've known that like restaurants have been putting kiosks in to order for a while now, but that kind of just hit me as, wow, yep, it's really happening. Less workers to save money so that companies don't have to spend the high minimum wage. $20 for fast food worker, that's ridiculous. But at the same time, I understand the idea of what we just read in the other article where you can't pay your rent. You can't survive here. So I kind of understand the idea of, well, we got to do something about that. So let's raise the minimum wage so that people can actually afford things. But that's a short-sighted, in my opinion, a short-sighted solution, because then you get this. You get, okay, well, companies, like, did anybody think about the fact that companies are not necessarily going to be able to or want to pay that amount? Like, that's obviously the next step in your thinking, right? What's going to happen next? Companies are going to try to save money. That's what they do. They try to save money. So what are they going to do? Okay, how can we save money? Let's lay off some people and put in kiosks. If we have the technology, if they didn't have to, if they didn't have this higher minimum wage, they wouldn't have the motivation to save money, because it's better to have people, because you want people to interact with other people. It's just better customer service that way. So it would be better if they could afford it. But I totally understand, like, it's the whole ecosystem, the economy, where it's people can't afford to live. I know, let's increase minimum wage so they can. Oh, but then the companies can't afford to pay them, so they're going to cut the jobs. So now people aren't going to have the jobs. Like, it's, yeah, the whole thing is stupid. 9,500 jobs. More fast food job losses are coming as the new minimum wage took effect. This includes losses at Pizza Hut, Round Table Pizza, which are in the process of firing nearly 1,300 delivery drivers. El Pollo Loco and Jack in the Box announced that they will speed up the use of robotics, including a robot that makes salsa and cooked fried foods. Salsa, robotic salsa, with solid proof that their compassionate legislation is causing workers to lose their jobs. Will any of the politicians who supported this law call for its repeal? Will any say, I'm sorry for having voted for this because it's doing a lot of harm? That's not going to happen. You know what's probably going to happen is the same politicians are going to go, oh, let's create some laws so companies can't fire employees. Like, it's all going to come down to the companies, as if the companies somehow have all this money that they can pay employees $20 an hour, which probably some can, but like, anyways, I bet there's going to be like politicians going, how can we now regulate the companies so that they can't fire people and that they have to pay them? That's going to be their solution, instead of realizing, oh yeah, this whole thing is just utterly stupid. Being a leftist politician means never having to say you're sorry. Besides, if they ever admitted to their status nostrums, I have no clue what that means, are counterproductive, they might cause voters to doubt their belief in government power as a solution to every problem. People like this, I'm not saying leftists, I'm saying like people in general who are, they don't want the truth or the correct way of doing things. They want to be right, or they want to be in power, instead of finding solutions that actually work. I bet some of them are like that. Ohanian also points out the skullduggery. I don't know what that means either. George, I don't know what that means in the law, which doesn't apply to a certain fast food chain owned by a buddy of his. Oh. Huh. So it doesn't apply to a buddy of his. Wow. What is that fast food chain? Is that the one up here, In-N-Out? Is that what he's talking about? So yeah, more More absolute crap going on in California, of course. Yeah, pretty crazy. I'm still gonna do what I'm doing, spending a third of my income on rent. Moving on to TikTok, it's not just hitting like it used to. That was a good segue, wasn't it? I don't have any segues in this show, BTW. It takes too much effort to. Speaking of being in and out in various ways in life, being in and out in TikTok. No, that was dumb. I used to be an avid user of TikTok, but the algorithms. Let's see what's going on with TikTok. Let's see what's the latest. This was an article today. Earlier today. TikTok is facing its most credible existential threat yet. So there's the ban it was talking about, and then the story of whoever, the article writer, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. My average total screen time exploded during the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, from getting ready with me narratives to kitten videos and the classic TikTok viral dance. I could dive. Yeah. Who the frick cares? I hate these freaking articles where it's like, let me tell you the story about how I was on TikTok for the last 3 years and I was watching it, blah, blah. I don't care. Just let's get to it. Okay. I don't care about your story. My average time on TikTok ranges from 30 minutes to 2 hours a day now versus however long it was before, probably more. It's not hitting like it used to. Okay, so why? Tell me why. Others seem to agree, from aggrieved fellow journalists to content creators. So what are these other articles talking about it too? TikTok is kind of bad. This is another article. The emphasis on shopping really bums me out. And someone talking about probably the same thing, I imagine. Was the app already on its way out? I love these, like, what is it? Hyperbolic statements and stuff that because there's like a few people doing something, it's now some sort of a big thing. It might be true that, this might be true that maybe in some way TikTok was already on its way out, quote unquote, but a lot of these things are hyperbole. Top apps wax and wane, and content creators notice they're changing a lot. Over the past several years, they've been changing a lot. And so naturally there's going to be some, I don't know, shifting of what people watch, how they watch it, shifting of the algorithm, all this stuff. As with all trends, the hot social network of the moment tends to wax and wane. Remember Clubhouse? No. Oh, yeah. Wasn't that like, what was Clubhouse? Was that audio only? I don't remember what the deal was with that. Facebook, the original top dog of social media and still the biggest by user numbers, has seen young users flee in recent years, despite overall growth bringing monthly active users to 3 billion in 2023. But unlike Meta, TikTok is not a public company. Oh, may not get granular insights. Okay. So people are aware of the ability of an entire platform to vanish with very little notice. So somewhere in here, they're talking about how everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of people, some people are moving to different platforms. Here we go. A number of creators who grew large audiences on TikTok have been diversifying, trying to migrate their fan base to other platforms in case TikTok disappears. I want to say that people have been doing that for years, for a long time. Diversifying, not diversifying. To different platforms, creating accounts on different platforms to diversify. It's just a good idea in general to have like different, theoretically, it's a good idea. Trying to migrate their fan bases to other platforms. Others have grown frustrated with the algorithm, reporting wildly fluctuating TikTok views and impressions for the videos. The algorithm for Instagram has fluctuated a lot too over the past, I don't know how many years. The only reason I still use TikTok is because of brand loyalty, this person says, one person, Deja 2. So, and then it talks about the TikTok shop, which I've read about on another video or two, and where there's a number of people who don't like how everything's becoming. Oh, I watched a YouTube video on it too. Becoming very product centric. People are selling. TikTok's push of the shopping features, in spite of little interest from its audience, underscores the lack of say users and creators have over their favorite platform and how they work. Creators report feeling pressure to participate in the shopping features, lest their content gets buried in the algorithm. So the magic algorithm, TikTok's biggest asset or liability. TikTok's success has been largely attributed to its uncannily accurate algorithm, which monitors user behavior and serves related content on their For You page. ByteDance would only consider selling the platform to comply with the new bill if it didn't include the algorithm, which would make it nearly worthless. Okay. So they don't want to sell the algorithm, which is really good, right? It can be too responsive for some users. One friend told me they accidentally watched several videos of a niche Brazilian dance and their feed has been inundated with related content ever since. TikTok is very trend-based. It has its own kind of culture that you have to be tapped into in order to grow in a way you don't see on other platforms like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. There is trend stuff on Instagram Reels, though. There's a fair amount of trendy trend stuff. So I don't know, but I think Instagram is a lot like that too. So I'm not sure about that. I've seen, in fact, in some ways it's more trendy because it seems like there's fewer trends that people copy and do over and over again on Instagram Reels. I don't know anything about YouTube Shorts as far as trends go and stuff. The mystery of the algorithm is not unique to TikTok. Because social media platforms are not transparent about how they decide which content reaches users, it creates confusion and paranoia among creators about shadow banning when content is demoted in the algorithm and shown less. Okay, TikTok's legacy. Even if TikTok refuses to sell and shut down forever, as its parent company seems to want, the app has left an indelible mark on the social media landscape. Okay, blah, 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 blah. It'll impact me in many years. Yesterday, I spent 10 minutes of my life learning about the history of big pens. I don't care about you watching stupid videos while you're laying on your bed. I don't care. This is stupid. Let's see. The platform's biggest. This is what I think about articles. How writers write articles. The Reels venture at Meta has been growing rapidly when the company last released numbers specific to the platform. Okay. Reels alone makes up 50% of user time spent on Instagram. The company said it's focused on scaling the product and not yet monetizing it. What do they mean by that? Because you can monetize yourself on Reels. On Instagram anyway, right? Pretty sure. Well, that's great. Thank you, Betsy, for telling me about how you've learned a lot about big pens. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. In conclusion, I don't know. There's no conclusion yet. It's like whatever. Like things are still going to continue to change crazily with the TikTok algorithm. Same thing with Instagram. Probably the same thing with YouTube, I imagine. And as far as like content goes, I would say it's always been like finding out what works for you from the beginning, pretty much. Maybe not the beginning where everybody could like become popular because there wasn't really anybody on YouTube or the platforms, like beginning. But it's kind of like you find out what works for you. And with YouTube anyway, it's like you got to be consistent. The most reliable way for long-term reliable creation of yourself on a platform, being a creator, is to do content that adds value, and is entertaining, and then just being consistent at it. And there's different levels of that. You could be really good at it or not that good at it, but you can grow over time regardless. And getting better at it over time is important. And reiterating, iterations. So the two things that I've figured out are consistency, but you can't just be consistent. You have to also, what would you call it? Iteration, becoming better over time. Basically, it's So you can't just put out content. You have to put out content, and every time you have to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and change how you do things, and go, oh, this video worked better, so I'm going to start doing more of this. Oh, this is what the audience wants. I'm going to try adding this value. I'm going to try doing this, and so on. And then looking at your analytics and all that stuff, and over time you get better because you're doing all that stuff. So you have to do those two things: consistency and iteration or experimentation, or I don't know what the word is for that. I'll just call it get better over time. It's those two things. And if you do that, then you can kind of probably any niche or anything that you do on, say, YouTube. I'm mostly talking about YouTube here. Then you can become successful at it over time. So, I've watched people who are just using a crappy webcam, but they were just talking, and they were good at talking about different topics. They read whatever articles, and then they just talked about it. Particular subjects, and that was it. It was just kind of like what I'm doing now, only worse as far as quality goes. But they grew a big audience, and they were in the hundreds of thousands of followers because they were very consistent and they had good delivery. But if you don't have good delivery, like I said, you reiterate, you improve yourself, and then you have a good delivery. You have to become good at it. But that comes with time. So I would say at the beginning, the most important thing is consistency, actually shooting videos and putting them up. And then over time, you want to add in become better, become better, become better, become better. But if you don't start shooting and posting, you're never going to do anything, period. So that's why I think the most important thing is just to shoot something and put it up, whatever it is. It can literally be the crappiest thing ever, just put a video of you just sitting here staring at the screen. Hello there. Tell a joke or something. Cheaper and lighter Apple, and this will conclude this last article right here. This interests me because I want an Apple Vision, but they're very expensive. I'm just looking at the different layouts here. Which one is better? This one's like picture in picture. This one's not no me. Oh, this is the one I just made. Switches me. Okay. Ooh. I'm liking StreamYards. I'm just saying. Cheaper and lighter Apple Vision headset could reportedly launch June 2025. Chinese news outlet. So this is just a rumor, I guess, whatever. Wall Street CN reports Apple plans to launch the cheaper and lighter Vision headset as early as June 2025. So May in a year. That's good because it's good. They need a better one. The report cites, especially lighter. The report cites the supply chain as saying Apple is accelerating the launch from an original plan of September 2025, so later in next year. Claims so mid next year versus later next year. Claims the headset will weigh roughly 400 grams, significantly lighter than the 600 to 650 gram Vision Pro. It also claims the supply chain is preparing for scale at the level of tens of millions. Holy crap. Unbelievable, given the current Pro is produced at the scale of hundreds of thousands. Yeah, there would have to be huge changes, huge improvements for them to be like, okay, we're going to be selling tens of millions. But if that's the case, this is just a rumor. So if that's the case, though, then I would definitely get into VR very quickly here. This is that's potentially huge, right? If they're thinking they're going to sell tens of millions, that means it's going to have features that the masses are going to want. Very slim, light, good looking, easy to use, cheap, relatively cheap, right? At least, Apple cheap, I guess. For the cheaper Vision headset to reach tens of millions would require a significant expansion of micro OLED supply capacity to drive a much lower price point. It's heavily supply constrained by Sony's limited micro OLED display output. Apple was testing new micro OLED displays from other suppliers. Alternatively, Apple could use LCD panels. They're order of magnitude cheaper, really. What about micro LED, LCD? I'm not sure. Yeah, it would require reduced resolution or a much bulkier design. This is far from the first time we've seen a report describing Apple's plans for a cheaper non-pro vision headset. Supply chain analyst Ming Chi Ko. Apple was working on a cheaper headset a full year before Vision Pro was even revealed, with Kuo at the time saying Apple aimed to launch it in 2025. Okay. Discussed prices range from $1,500 to $2,500. Yeah, that could be good. That could be good. $1,500 to $2,500. So it is a rumor, but I would say that's like a very expensive cell phone, right? Like one of the more expensive cell phones, like one of the folding phones. $1,500 is probably like top of the line iPhone right now, right? So why not buy a VR headset? I'm looking forward to that. I definitely want to get one, but I'll have to save up some money, and then maybe I'll become a VR influencer. All right, well, that's it for today. I just wanted to check out StreamYard, and I like it. So talk to y'all later. Bye.